Hello, Paulina. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, hi. Good, thanks.
Okay, Paulina, great. So, to start off with the podcast, let's know about more about Frosty Whale. So, like, what exactly is Frosty Whale, and how did you come up with the idea for an influencer commerce platform?
So hi, my name is Paulina. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Frosty Whale. And in Frosty Whale, the problem that we are addressing is a problem of loneliness. Nowadays, people feel more and more lonely. According to the last research, 1/3 of all adults worldwide experience loneliness in their life. So it shows that the problem is really serious, and it's very much. It's also caused by social media, more and more often caused by social media. And why by social media? Because in social media we follow influencers. Gen Z, millennials, we very often follow influencers, and we follow them every single day. We know basically everything about them. But at the end of the day, those are not real friends. Those are not our friends. They know nothing about us. Those are just one-sided relationships. And when you take a look at the messages that fans are trying to send to influencers are getting hundreds of messages every single week, and they are achievable. And this is what we wanted to change in Frosty Whale. On our platform, fans can connect and form meaningful relationships with their influencers. On our platform, when you message an influencer, most probably you're gonna get a reply. So that's the difference versus social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, and so how exactly do you manage to so these influencers on your platform, they also have to be able to interact with a lot of fans. So how do you platform ensure that the influencer is able to communicate with everyone?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, like obviously time means money. So influencers are not supposed to reply to all the fans. They are just replying to the top spenders, to the high potential fans, the ones that are willing to spend on the relationship with them. So usually, if the influencer has 100 or 200,000 followers, they will engage in conversations with 5 to 10 fans, maybe around that. So this is, a small pool of funds, but those are the ones that are willing to spend and striving for this sort of relationship. And maybe the question that you might have, how do we find those funds? Because the 200,000 funds, how to find this 5 or 10 funds that are willing to connect with the influencer and can pay for that, because this is also the crucial. So on our platform, we run auctions of unique digital assets, and this is how we identify the high potential funds. Usually the winners, the second runner-up, the funds that are bidding high, those are usually the ones that want to spend, and influencer engages in chats with them, in conversations, and they are getting this attention and recognition they are striving for, whereas influencers got a chance to make some money.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned digital assets. So, like, what are digital assets that you use? Is it NFTs or what are these?
So those are, we call it digital collectibles, but basically we use the NFT technology to secure photos, videos, and turn them into unique digital assets. But I would say that the difference versus the NFTs that we know from other NFT marketplaces is that on OpenSea, people at some point were very much focused on trading and speculation. On our platform, we don't see this at all. So at the very beginning, we had a secondary market, but then we decided to hide it, to hide this feature on our platform, and we are waiting for the fans to ask us if they can, resell it. And so far, we haven't experienced any questions like that. We haven't got any questions like that. And it also shows that the motivation when it comes to the purchase of the NFT is completely different than in case of NFTs like we know from the OpenSea, like popular collections. Maybe I will not be naming them, but but the motivation is not to make money, it's not to trade, it's not to speculate.
Right. And just a quick question. So these NFTs are then transferred to the influencer as a digital collectible.
Yeah, so it works on our platform. It works like that. In the first place, you are not selling the. It's not digital collectible yet. It's not the NFT yet. So you are just creating the offering. The influencer creates the offering. Once it's sold, it will be turned. It will be minted into the NFT, and then transferred to the funds wallet. So yeah, so it will be stored in the e-wallets, and every single fund has a separate e-wallet on our platform.
Right. Okay. And so NFTs and all, they were in big trend some time ago, but now they are not as in trend as they were before. So is it like the amount of usage has it decreased from before now, or it's still increasing?
No, it hasn't decreased at all because the motivation is different. So basically on our platform, fans do not really care if this is the NFT or not. They just want to connect with the influencer, and they want to support the influencer. So the motivation is different, and until they are striving for this connection, they will be buying from the influencer whatever they are selling. But with the NFTs, the emotions that fans are striving for, like recognition, attention, is way easier to achieve than with the subscription model, for example. Because if you have the subscription, basically it's meant to be for the mass market. So everybody is buying subscription, and if I'm like super loyal fan, I cannot distinguish from the fan base. I don't have any chance to stand out from the fan base because everybody is paying basically the same money, everybody is subscribing. But with the NFTs and the auctions of the NFTs, it's totally different. There's just one winner. Everybody is bidding, everybody is fighting. There are emotions. Everybody is looking at the auction, what's going on, and for super loyal fan, it's a great way to be seen, to be recognized, to get the attention they are striving for from both the influencer and the community. So so like using all those psychological mechanisms on our platform, it causes that basically the volume is not dropping down.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned subscription model. So, like, what can say, for not having the same kind of subscription, there can be different levels, as in how there's in YouTube. So there's different levels of subscription. So if you want to pay more and get more features, you want to interact more with the influence, so you can get a higher subscription model of the base. Have you?
Yeah, you are right about it, but the thing is that okay, if I said that different subscriptions, then there is like the high subscription. Usually, influencers will not limit this to just one fund, so still a few funds can acquire the highest subscription. But even if it's just limited to one fund, like then there is there aren't those emotions that we see when we organize the auction. When we run the auction, everybody is so focused on that, everybody is fighting, etc. In subscriptions, it's just okay, like you are just buying this, and like basically nobody cares what you bought, like what kind of tier of subscription you purchased. So I think that for people who want to be seen, who want to compare to others, compare themselves to others, who want to be like recognized and enjoy this kind of this kind of feeling, I think that the auctions are way better than just purchasing the highest tier subscription.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, like we have influencers that were using Patreon before, or are using Patreon, right? So just to give you a better understanding of the amounts that fans are willing to pay, for example, our influencer, 200,000 followers, and this influencer was earning $50 on Patreon per month. This $50, 10 fans were subscribing to his content, and on our platform, just one auction, $200. So it also shows that the amount of money that fans are willing to pay is much higher on our platform with this value proposition that we are offering. than in case of subscription-based platforms.
Yeah, now I understand the difference between the subscription and this auction base. Yeah, this one strives more on the emotions of the fans.
Exactly. So it's about the emotions. And then when you win the auction and the influencer is engaging in a conversation with you, so then you feel even better because, wow, now he's like, he or she is talking to you. And you didn't have this chance before. Even on subscription-based platforms, they rarely talk to the fans. So on our platform, they will chat with the fans, and then fans will feel even better, and they can request some personalized content. So if we are chatting, right, I can send you some customized photos or some special photos, also secured as the NFT. So they also do the upselling of the digital assets through the chats, through the private chats.
Okay, okay. And about the AI and Web3 NFTs that you have been used, like what are the challenges that you faced in while integrating them at your platform, and how did you face to counter those challenges?
I mean, the challenges to acquire influencers on our platform.
No, while integrating the AI and NFT model on your platform, what were the challenges you faced and how you tackled them?
Sure. So regarding the challenges, I see lots of opportunities versus challenges. So, for example, the AI, what do we use the AI for? Because I mentioned those chats. So this is actually the first use case for the AI. Okay, influencers can engage in conversations with 10 fans, but it's just 5 fans. How many fans can you handle? And some influencers will be busier, so maybe it's even less than 5 that they can really handle during the month or a week or whatever. But that's why we train the AI systems based on the influencers' chat logs. And also influencers have to talk to the AI, correct the responses. So we try to make it as accurate as possible, although the technology is getting better and better. So the AI sounds like an influencer, and then the AI can handle more conversations. So the influencers, for example, can engage in conversations with the winner of the auction or the 3-5 high potential fans, but the rest of the fan base can still talk to the AI, because when they talk, this emotional connection is being built. And today, maybe they are not top spenders, but they might become in the future the top spenders. They upgrade in the ranking, and at some point they might have a chance to talk to the human influencer. But still, we believe that giving them the chance to engage, to build this relationship, even through AI, is definitely getting fans closer to become the super loyal fans in the future.
Yeah, I mean, in recent times, there were these news articles as well where people used to train their chat and they used to launch their AI models to communicate and converse with people and their fans.
Yes. So there are cases like that, and it shows that it works because thousands of fans are engaging in such AI-driven chats, AI-driven conversations. So I believe that this is definitely the future, and it also helps a lot with influencers because they have limited time. They are just humans.
Yeah.
And also remember about the virtual influencers, because the wave of virtual influencers is coming, and especially here in Asia, it's been here for the last few years. Virtual characters, people engaging with them, and they don't have any time constraints. They can chat with you 24 hours, 7 days per week. So when you face the competition from the virtual influencers, then it's going, and you are still human. So, you will never be able to talk to your fans 24 hours per day. So that's why we believe that we should equip them with the AI tools, and this way they can compete and still provide value to their fans, and they don't switch to virtual influencers at some point because human influencers will not be accessible, will not be achievable, and
Yeah, for sure. there's this virtual influencer in India. So that now that influencer is also in collaboration with a brand. So there's this huge brand in India called Mintra. So it's a fashion brand, and that virtual influencer is now the brand ambassador of that brand.
Exactly. So there are more and more
Potential,
cases
yeah,
like that.
of it is like
Yes. Yes, exactly. And actually, I've seen a research some time ago that virtual influencers have actually larger influence than human influencers. In many cases, their influence is larger. So it also shows that that there is a huge appetite from the fans to interact with such influencers, to follow such influencers, and I believe that at some point connect with such influencers, which we can provide on our platform.
yeah, exactly. So you also mentioned about the about integrating or collaborating with the influencers. So how do you come about with that situation? How difficult is it to collaborate with influencers and bringing them on your platform?
On our platform, we offer connection and relationship between the influencer and the fan. So obviously, we have to have influencers on our platform because like without them, we cannot really offer this virtual relationship as a product. But to partner with influencers, I believe that you have to understand this market inside out. And this was the challenge that we were facing at the very beginning. When we started the company, we didn't have that great understanding of the market. So we made lots of mistakes, but I believe that we learned a lot. And right now, the influencer acquisition is way, way easier for us because we understand them. We know what they are expecting, what they are used to, what the market standards are, what they can do for us, what they will definitely don't do for us. So we shouldn't even try like how we have to handle this collaboration to make it beneficial for our business, but also to make them feel comfortable and make them feel that they are also getting something out of it. And in most cases, it's not about money. I mean, everybody wants more money, but influencers also have other needs than money. So sometimes you may pay them a lot, but they will still not do what they are required to. So when it comes to motivating influencers, this is another whole new level that we had to figure out. But right now, yeah, I think that right now it's pretty successful. We feel pretty comfortable working with influencers, and we know how to handle those relationships with them. And they are indeed our partners. Although in the future we are thinking more about turning into AI, and we are also developing our own virtual influencers. And even at this point, it's still in the testing phase, but we are training AI based on the influencers, like conversations, chat logs, etc., to empower human influencers with the AI. And also AI can generate photos, can generate videos, which we are also doing. And the accuracy of the content is amazing. Right now, it's really amazing, and for many fans, it's indistinguishable if the photo was taken by a photographer or created by the AI. So this is where we see huge potential, huge business potential, and also from the revenue perspective. So that's why right now we work with human influencers, but we are also equipping them with AI and developing our own virtual influencers. So I believe that in a few years, a huge part of our revenue will be generated from virtual influencers.
Right. Okay. And like whenever we are talking about digital aspects, there's always the issue of intellectual property. So how do you manage that issue?
With the so on our platform, we own the rights to all the photos, videos, all the content on our platform. So this is the agreement that we have with the influencers, and also vast majority of the content we create by ourselves, collaborating with our photographers, and right. So this is how it works on our platform. And then the intellectual property, it's very sensitive topic in the especially in the digital world, it's not that easy to secure, to protect intellectual property. But I think that in our case, this is not really the value that we are providing, that you are buying this photo or video. Okay, you are buying the ownership of that, but basically it comes with all those emotions associated with that. So this is something that, you know, isn't really like visible. You know, how excited you are when you are winning the auction, how exciting it is, or how happy it makes you feel when you get a message from the influencer. So this is basically the value of our platform, and this is our value proposition. When it comes to IP rights, I think that even from the funds perspective, they are not that focused on this. They're just buying, you know, like photos, videos, for all those emotions that come together.
For their use, for them, the photos, videos that the influencers are sharing, it's basically for the fans itself.
Yes. So yeah, so on our platform, for example, I can tell you how it works on our platform. On our platform, everybody can see the photo, but this is very low quality photo. So only if you own this photo, then you can download it in the high quality. But obviously, you can, you know, like post it somewhere in the internet, online, and other people can download. And you know, we cannot force such behavior, and we cannot pretend it. We cannot prevent it. Yeah.
It's not possible in the digital space.
Yeah, in the digital space, it happens all the time. The even worse things happening, like, you know, some people will be selling influencers photos, for example, without any collaboration with them. It also happens, and it's also very difficult. You know, like you can go to the court, but it will take lots of time,
Yeah.
of even suing them for that. Yeah, it happens all the time. Or people just using their photos, posting on their profiles, on their own profiles in social media, happens all the time. So yeah, so I think that's it's it's very difficult, very difficult in the digital space. But that's why we have to provide another value than just IP.
Yeah. Also, there's this with Apple launching its Apple Vision Pro. There's this VR and AR technology that's gonna rise soon. So, do you aim to take benefit out of that and integrate that as well in your platform?
So we are still a huge believer in the metaverse and, you know, everything related to the virtual world, and that's why actually we are even at this stage we are doing still unique digital assets. Digital assets, we are using NFT technology, but in the future we believe that influencers will be selling a broad spectrum of different digital goods, and this is what the NFT technology will be used for. And imagine that right now in the physical world, influencers are trying to build their own brands, like, for example, clothing brand. So they produce t-shirts, just an example. And we believe that in the future, yeah, they will be producing t-shirts, but it's not in the physical world, but in the digital world, in the metaverse, and people will be interacting with the influencers' avatars. But in metaverse, it's still in its infancy. So so this is rather a long-term vision than a short-term. But I believe that this is where the huge potential is.
Yeah, that's true. Also, like you have a background in VC fund and supporting startup founders, expanding their startups into newer markets, basically Southeast Asia. So, how has this helped you in your journey?
I've been involved in that for many years, this kind of initiatives. And before I was working in a venture capital fund and in the business development department, so to say. So my responsibility was to recruit, look for startups from all over the world that are interested in the Southeast Asian market. Because our venture capital fund and accelerator was based in Southeast Asia, and this was the value that we were providing. Basically, go-to-market strategy, facilitation of the go-to-market strategy to Southeast Asian region. And so I was involved in that on behalf of the venture capital fund, but I also launched my own foundation, Lotus League Foundation. And the goal, the mission was pretty similar, which was also helping young entrepreneurs or startups to expand to Southeast Asian markets. So I've been involved in that for many, many years and organized lots of events around that topic and gathered great network of experts. So that's why for me, doing business in Southeast Asia is something that I was a little bit familiar with from the very beginning because of all those programs and initiatives that I did in the past. But yeah, like all my basically professional experiences from Southeast Asia. So that's why I'm pretty comfortable doing business here. I guess that at this point, after so many years, more comfortable than doing business in Europe.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. So, so what was your inspiration when you started with entrepreneurship? What was your educational background, and how did you start up with this idea of getting Frosty Whale?
So my educational background is in finance and law. So I graduated from two Polish universities, but I also exchanged at the National University of Singapore in business school. So yeah, so my background is like sort of business in business. Doing a startup wasn't something that I wanted to do in the first place. At the very beginning, I was very much focused on investment banking. Then I switched to consulting. I even collaborated with McKinsey for a few years. And then finally, I ended up in a venture capital fund. And from venture capital fund, being on the investment side to being a startup is a shorter way than than you may think. So yeah, so I think that it was pretty natural for me that after running acceleration programs, working with so many founders, I wanted to have my own startup to launch my own company.
Right. Okay. And so you've tried for consulting, investment banking. How was your experience with that? What did you learn from those?
That's a tough question. I would say that it depends what you are looking for. I've been always more entrepreneurial, and basically all the experience that I have, all the professional experience that I have, is more on the leadership side. Like managing programs, buildings, initiatives, projects from scratch. So I believe that it was already very entrepreneurial, and for me, working in the environment where I cannot be that entrepreneurial wouldn't fit me long term. So that's why I decided to run a startup at the end of the day, not work in a corporation, consulting or investment banking. But also, I'm a huge enthusiast of new technologies. So I read about trends. I follow what's going on in the startup ecosystem in this space all over the world. So I believe that this is something exciting that I really enjoy being a startup right now. But before working with startups, which I guess that you cannot really experience working in investment banking, this is a more traditional industry as well as consulting. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So this is how I look at it.
Yeah. So what does a general day in your life look like as the CEO of Frosty Whale?
So yeah, that's a good question. So every single day when you wake up, you have to be super motivated and inspired and energetic, dynamic. Because if you are not, obviously the team will not be either, and it will lead nowhere. So basically, this is also a challenge because sometimes it might be difficult to feel on top of yourself every single day. But this is what I'm trying to do when working with the team, and also lots of positive energy that I try to spread and And when there are problems, and obviously in every single company there are problems, I try not to make people feel stressed. And especially in Asia, this is a difference versus my experience in Europe, that in Asia, people, as right now we do business in Thailand, people don't really like feeling stressed and feeling that, you know, there might be a bad atmosphere. Their ability to handle that, I believe, is slightly lower than what I've experienced in Europe. So that's why I try to try to make it as easy to work environment as possible. But obviously startups are never easy, and there are many stressful situations, and we do not have many people in the team, so everybody can handle basically everything. And yeah, and often we have to work overtime, but as much as possible I try to minimize this level of stress. So the atmosphere is nice. Also, you know, although we are based across Southeast Asia in different countries, I try to travel to Vietnam or to Philippines, to Singapore, because right now I'm based in Thailand, and meet our employees, to have a personal relationship with them, so we trust each other. So I believe that this way I increase the chances that if something is going on, at least they will tell me, and at least we'll have a chance to fix it before they resign from from the job. So yeah, so this is how it looks. But as my role is more on the management side, so I also recruit a lot of people. I build a whole team. I'm managing them on uh, managing them also every single day. But we at the moment we have departments, so people are working more in departments, and they are C-levels executives managing them.
Yeah. So mostly the team at Frosty Whale is remote in those Southeast Asia countries.
Across Southeast Asia, because first of all, Thailand is our initial market, it's our first market, but this is not the only market that we have in plans. So that's why we have teams also in other countries. As well as I'm trying to recruit, I always try to recruit the best talent I can find. So it's not necessary in one country. For example, when it comes to tech team, I found great talent in Vietnam. So that's why we hired in Vietnam, not in another country. But for example, marketing, I'm very impressed with the with the Philippines and the Filipino employees. So I love hiring there for like marketing, graphic design roles.
Right.
So yeah, so it all depends. So that's why the team is based across the region, because different positions, and I believe different talents in different countries, but I always try to search for the best ones.
Right. So what does your 5-year, 10-year plan look like at Frosty Whale? What do you aim in the future? I'm sure expanding into newer markets is one thing.
Expanding markets. We are a Singaporean company. The first market is Thailand. Then the next markets next year is Vietnam. So those are the two markets that we are currently focused on. Then the rest of Southeast Asia. And obviously the dream is to go to East Asia and maybe countries like Japan or South Korea. But this is also another game. But I believe that in a few years, maybe we'll be ready for that. Hope so.
Yeah. All the best for that.
Thank you so much.
So, lighter question, what are your general go-to places where you go to learn about entrepreneurship, like books, articles, anything like that?
Yes, so I used to work in a venture capital fund and with acceleration programs. So I still follow lots of accelerators on LinkedIn, or just visit their websites from time to time to check what's going on, what kind of startups they have right now in the batches, what's going on in the particular sectors. But also there are many conferences, online conferences, that webinars that I attend from time to time, also in the Web3 space, because at the end of the day, we use the blockchain technology. So I'm still interested what's going on in the Web3 space, Web3 and AI. And there are also many webinars on the new tools of the market, because as we are a tech company, this is our priority to implement tech tools that can help us work more efficiently and to help people work faster. And that's why I also encourage my team to take part in some webinars like that, and to search for the tools that we can use in the company that can help us improve on different fields. So so I would say that this is where I search the information regarding the new trends or companies on the market.
Right.
But LinkedIn, I'm also a huge fan of LinkedIn, always been. So I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, going through different articles, posts, podcasts, etc.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of LinkedIn, and like that has like facilitated me organize like podcasts and many of those pretty well. That's my go-to place where I can reach out to founders or people to whom I can invite and have conversations with to learn from them.
Exactly, I feel the same about LinkedIn. We do a lot of business with influencers, but their social media is more like Facebook, Instagram, and I'm always joking about it that I should be an influencer on LinkedIn because this is the only like social media that I really enjoy every single day, and lots of great great news
Yeah,
that I can.
well, new influencers are rising on LinkedIn and Twitter as well now.
Our influencers don't use LinkedIn, but yeah, maybe
Yeah,
maybe one day we'll have LinkedIn influencers on our platform.
yeah, soon they'll be.
Yeah, actually, there is a huge potential, because like with some people, there's another startup doing this that I've heard about, but like with some people on LinkedIn that are more like into celebrities almost, they have like so many, like for example 20,000 connections, etc. You can still message them, but the chance that you will get a reply in some cases might be low. So I guess that potential of the platform where you can pay and get a reply from them maybe exist. I heard about similar concepts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess that concludes the podcast. I've been able to conversate with you a lot and learned a lot from you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure for me as well. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I hope that it was at least a little bit helpful or insightful.
Yeah, for sure. Provided so many insights, and thanks a lot for joining with me.
Thank you.